Hi, my name is Philippa Haynes from Insight 101. We are a brand strategy consultancy, and one of the key things that we do to support our clients is to help them create their brand vision for the future, but also their values so that they can start to behave in a different way and start to communicate in a more emotional way to connect better with their customers or clients and also their teams. Now, of course, in these very different times that we find ourselves in, those businesses that have done the work and have clear values, after the last 3 or 4 weeks, things are beginning to feel a little bit more settled, if it can be called settled, I guess. Um, and maybe now it's time to get back together with teams and to talk through the experience that you've had. And if you do have your values, which are clearly created and communicated throughout the teams, now is a good time to talk to people about how they found them. Did they actually help? Um, were there examples where people used those set of values to guide their decisions or to guide how they did something or even guide them in an activity? It would be really good to review that with your teams to understand what worked and what didn't. Um, Equally, really good to chat through some of the behaviours that you've seen, the good behaviours, and potentially the different behaviours in such challenging times. And at this point, again, a conversation with the team around, you know, did that show a particular value? Is that something that should be added into um, the mix going forward? So is that value actually, can it be described in a better way? Can you actually attribute behaviours more succinctly behind it so that your team know exactly what is required of them when they look at those sets of values? So review them and see whether they helped your business and your team. It would be great to hear from them. Also, in particular, which values resonated particularly well, because it may be worth kind of thinking a little bit more about them. And then those which didn't work quite so well, again, are they fit for purpose and do they need to change? And of course, the behaviours that you've seen around these values so that you can begin to translate what is sometimes felt to be an intangible into something really tangible. So if people were incredibly spontaneous and just took decisions very quickly rather than expecting a lot of conversation, maybe that is great within your team and certainly demonstrates some of your key values. So have a think about that. And then when the time is right, go back to the values and think whether they need tweaking or whether they still are working for you. And that should be inputted by the team themselves. Now, if you don't have your values pulled together, you haven't thought about that, but you've seen interesting behaviours, you've seen some great attitude coming through from your staff, some great can-do attitude, for instance. It might be good to get together with them and just talk about what your team members have felt, what they've seen from other colleagues that have made their lives easier, some examples of great behaviour, of great attitude. Pull that together, and that could be the start of the piece that defines where you want to go in your business. What really is the vision, and what values underpin your business? Very good time to think about that when we have seen so many values and so many human kindnesses and strength and courage come through, that maybe just reviewing that with your teams and getting inspiration from what you've seen from your teams will help you to mould your future.